welcome to TV Africa News, and thank you for always joining us. This is Africa Today. My name is Najuma Lima, but first are the headlines. Parish development model is magic bullet to empowering women economically, says Museveni. NRM's Todong hails a role played by tourism sector in Uganda's development. Sudanese women at the forefront of demonstrations. A warm welcome once again. Now the news in detail. President Museveni has said the newly launched Parish Development Model Program will be key in ensuring the empowerment of women in Uganda. He urged members of the public, including women, to form circles at a parish level through which they will be assisted by government through the new program. We have more. Speaking during the International Women's Day celebration on Tuesday at Kororo Independence Grounds, Museveni said whereas women empowerment has been done through many other ways, the magic bullet is economic empowerment. The president said that by introducing Emyuga and the parish development model, government intends to ensure all members of the society are empowered economically to ensure they enter the money economy. Museveni explained that the ruling government's position on women has been and will always be clear for everyone to see. According to Museveni, other interventions in the health sector, like immunization, have also seen a number of people, including women, benefit from the fruits of the current government. Museveni explained that in politics, the current government made deliberate efforts to ensure women are empowered to take up various positions. The president explained that the NRM government ensured that each district has a woman representative in parliament, but also being represented in cabinet. Museveni also mentioned universal primary education, which he said has helped many, including women, become literate unlike before. First son, Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who is also the commander of the land forces, has announced his retirement from the Ugandan Army. He said he was satisfied with what he has achieved in the 28 years he has served in the UPDF. Nalugo reports.
Lieutenant General Muhoozi tweeted on Tuesday that after 20 years of service in his glorious military, the greatest military in the world, he was happy to announce his retirement. He added that himself and his soldiers have achieved so much that he only has love and respect for all those great men and women that achieve greatness for Uganda every day. General Muhoozi was born on 24 April 1974 in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, to Museveni, who has been president since 1986. He started military training in 1994 after he left high school and later attended the University of Nottingham from 1996 till 1998. Muhoozi formally joined the UPDF in 1999 before being admitted at the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, where he graduated in 2000. He also joined the Egyptian Military Academy for Company and Battalion Command course. Muhoozi also attended the Kalama Armored Warfare Training School in Kabamba, Mubende District, and in 2007, he joined the United States Army Command and General Staff College at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and graduated in 2008. Even if it's been rumored to have presidential ambitions in 2016, speaking shortly after promotion to the rank of Major General, Muhoozi Kainerugaba denied harboring presidential ambitions.
The National Resistance Movement Party Secretary General Richard Todong, while on his working visit in Chigezi sub-region, has hailed the role tourism sectors played towards the development of Uganda. Todong, who was interacting with communities around Bwindi Impenetrable Wildlife Conservation Center on Tuesday as part of his working visit in Chigezi sub-region, said that tourism is a key driver of economic growth in which people can easily generate income from natural resources as well as government also earning through taxes. Todong said that tourism is an increasingly important contributor to Uganda's economy, contributing 7.75% of the total GDP and 6.7% of total national employment. He urged members of the public to preserve these flora and fauna for the sustainability of the sector. The NRM Secretary General also hailed the Uganda Wildlife Authority for efforts to protect the various game parks around the country. He also urged all Ugandans and international tourists to spare time and visit these endowed parts of Uganda to appreciate the beauty of nature. In a way of promoting tourism through culture, the Secretary General spent part of his time interacting with Batwa people who traditionally lived in the eastern DRC forests and part of southwestern Uganda before they were assimilated into new culture. Let's take a quick break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, The Right to Know. Thousands of male and female demonstrators were back in the streets of Khartoum on Tuesday. The rally came as women across the world celebrate International Women's Day. Alongside male peers, female protesters faced tear gas fired by security forces.
Thousands of demonstrators rallied in the streets of Khartoum on Tuesday as women across the world celebrated International Women's Day. Demonstrators like Amina Al-Beshri wouldn't have missed the rally for the world and say that she demonstrated on the International Women's Day to call for civilian rule and democracy plus women's rights. Sudanese women have been at the forefront of demonstrations since the start of a series of protests against the removal of the last civilian-led transitional government. They marched demanding the return of constitutionality. Activist Tahani Abbas explained that she marched in protest to deliver the message that they are against military rule as well as against the Arab militias known as Janjaweed who are still ruling the country and controlling the reins of power. Women played a major role during the 2019 uprising that resulted in the ouster of longtime leader Omar al-Bashir. Pictures of Ala Salah, an architecture student who turned into an icon of the Sudanese revolution, even became viral at the time. If the anti-coup protesters called for the return of a civilian government, the ruling military said they would only hand power to an elected government.
Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi visited Riyadh on Tuesday to hold talks with the Saudi leadership on various bilateral issues. They also discussed a resolution demanding Russia to halt its invasion of Ukraine and withdraw all troops. Upon his arrival, el-Sisi met with Prince Mohammed and was later expected to meet with Saudi Arabia's King Salman to discuss bilateral relations between the two countries as well as the latest developments in Ukraine. Both Egypt and Saudi Arabia last week joined the likes United Arab Emirates and other 138 other nations to vote in favor of a United Nations General Assembly resolution demanding Russia halt its invasion of Ukraine and withdraw all troops. The move by the three regional power brokers came just 2 days after they signed onto an Arab League statement that did not condemn Russia and instead called for diplomacy and avoidance of escalation and consideration of the humanitarian situation. Official sources indicated that the two leaders will also discuss controversial Ethiopia's reconnaissance Saddam that has been at the center stage of a dispute between Addis Ababa and Cairo together with Sudan. Moving on, after 2 years of being shut, Rwanda's borders opened on Monday to ordinary citizens from Uganda, Tanzania, and DRC. The only exception is Burundi, that has not reciprocated the gesture and is keeping the border with Rwanda closed. According to the Rwandan authority, the decision to reopen the border was based on progress achieved in the fight against coronavirus. Residents can now move freely between countries, visiting relatives and transporting goods. The only exception is Burundi, that has not reciprocated the gesture and is keeping the border with Rwanda closed. According to the Burundian authorities, the only obstacle remaining is the issue surrounding the alleged perpetrators of the attempted coup in Burundi in 2015. Burundi demands that the alleged suspects currently living in exile in Rwanda be handed over before normal relations are resumed. Ministers of Justice from the two countries met last Friday in Kigali, but no progress was reported. Away from that, as the 6th Cape Verde Portugal Summit concluded on Monday, both countries' leaders appraised the new strategic cooperation program they signed. The deal provides for investment of €95 million until 2026.
As the two countries concluded their 6th bilateral summit in Praia, Cape Verdean Prime Minister Ulisses Correia Silva and Portuguese counterpart Antonio Costa signed a new cooperation program on Monday, the freshly signed deal which provided for investment of €95 million until 2026. Education and health were two of the 6 axes of the new partnership program between Cape Verde and Portugal. The leaders visited the Portuguese school of Cabo Verde in a way to underline the key role education plays in development. An educational institution funded by Portugal that has been in operation since 2016 and gathers nearly 900 students from preschool to 10th grade. The two countries also agreed to upgrade their technical police and civil protection cooperation. It is one of the measures underlined in the 5 bilateral instruments they sealed. The summit concluded Portuguese PM's 3-day visit to Africa, which also took him to Guinea-Bissau.
Let's once again take a quick break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, the right to know. In our business news today, South Africa's economy expanded in the final quarter of last year, driven by a recovery in agriculture and manufacturing. Data showed on Tuesday, a boost for President Cyril Ramaphosa, who is battling to ignite growth.
South Africa's economy has struggled to gain traction despite promises of sweeping reforms made by Ramaphosa after he took office in 2018, with persistent electricity cuts choking growth among other woes. Statistics in South Africa say that gross domestic product grew by 1.2% quarter-on-quarter in the last 3 months of 2021, following a contraction of 1.7% in the third quarter. The statistics agency say that the economy grew by 4.9% in the 2021 calendar year after contracting by 6.4% in 2020. A series of arson attacks and looting affected the country following the imprisonment of former President Jacob Zuma for contempt of court. 2021 recorded an increase compared to a 6.4% contraction in GDP in 2020 when the country entered the pandemic, as it was already in recession. These economic difficulties are reflected in the record unemployment rates recorded in 2021 from 34.9% in October. It reached up to 65% among young people according to the latest official statistics. Agriculture expanded by 12.2% quarter-on-quarter, manufacturing by 2.8%, and retail trade sales by 2.9%. But mining contracted by 3.1%, construction by 2.2%, and finance by 0.8%. The COVID-19 pandemic disrupted Ramaphosa's efforts, and pressure has built for his government to take corrective action after the unemployment rate hit a record high of nearly 35% last year.
In our health news today, Mozambique has recorded its first day of zero COVID-19 infections, in addition to zero COVID deaths on Monday and zero hospitalization in 24 hours throughout the country.
Authorities in Mozambique attributed the good results of COVID-19 zero infections to the mass vaccination campaign and the public's compliance with the social distancing rules. Some 18 people were still recovering from COVID. This milestone is the first since the pandemic started. Since March 2020, 225,140 infections and 2,196 died after contracting the virus. The authorities attributed the zero cases to the mass vaccination campaign and the public compliance with the social distancing rules. Their adherence to mask wearing and hand washing also contributed to the record zero COVID infection. The government launched the mass vaccination campaign last year, targeting to inoculate 17 million inhabitants by late December 2021. As of March 5, 2022, a total of 23,563,858 vaccine doses have been administered.
And in our sports news today, Express Football Club rallied from a goal down and survived, conceding a penalty during a 1-1 draw with league debutants Gaddafi at the Gaddafi Arena in Jinja City on Tuesday, March 8, 2022. We have more on this report. Paul Musamari gave the hosts a first-half lead, though a well-struck free kick on the quarter-hour mark. Express made amends in the subsequent half with less than 10 minutes to play, finding the equalizer from Charles Musige. Musali called home a beautiful free kick after 15 minutes as Gaddafi took the early lead. It would have been 2-0 by the 40th minute, but Umar Cheuni hit the goalpost from 12 yards after defender Murshid Juko had illegally brought down Richard Basangwa in the forbidden area. Musige headed home the equalizer past goalkeeper Paul Mujapwani after tailing delivery by Joshua Akandwanaho. Gaddafi's Bakali Magunda was named the Pilsner Man of the Match. Express stays 6th with the 9th draw of the season in 19 outings, as they now have 30 points. Gaddafi is 8th with 25 points. That was the news. Thank you for always keeping it TV Africa. Please do stay tuned to more programming coming your way.